opportunity to witness who Barack Obama was the day after the election last year, in which we talked earlier, and by we I mean I'm the one talking here, but we convened, so was us. We talked about Scott Brown in 2009, and that was perhaps an aberration. They didn't have the ground game because of the Acorn thing. The Tea Party was started. 2010 was an all-out assault by Trumka and the Teamsters and the SEIU, along with the remnants of Acorn, and the President of the United States to wage war against the Tea Party. And their goal was to frame them using cultural Marxist language, such as racist, to try and scare people away from going out and protesting against their takeover of our system. And people were being called racist over and over and over. And the goal was to take this nice, fresh body of water called innocent, and sometimes, by mistake, people send things that they probably shouldn't send. Anthony Weiner. But sometimes, if you're at an event and you see an SEIU member chomp off a Free Citizens finger segment, send it up on the internet, I'll put it out there, and I will shove it in Keith Olbermann's face, and Rachel Maddow's face, and Katie Burr's face. Lost her job because the American people rejected her. If I could go back in time, because I'm speaking to that, because I think it's all going out there. If I could go into a time capsule, they always ask that question, right? If I could go back in a time capsule, it would be go back to harass Walter Cronkite. I'm not kidding you. Even my parents who are Republicans, like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, Mom, there's no such thing as a space capsule. I'm not going to do it. Like, my mom actually would like say, don't do that. I can't do that. I'm just kidding. But I'm not kidding. Because that guy helped us lose the Vietnam War. And I can't believe it's taken us this long to figure out that it's not the Democratic Party that's the problem, and the path towards a center-right country being governed center-right is recapturing the American narrative. That's it. It's to take back Hollywood. It's going to take 40 years, but people in Hollywood who are conservative are now starting to find each other because of social networking, because of the internet, because we found each other and we said, we need to take it back. I've been in prison for the last 50 years. I've been on the plantation. I've been in the hell, the utopia that the Democratic Party created, and the Democratic media complex, the National Alliance of the Democratic Party, the mainstream media, and Hollywood, and academia. All of them together. Janine Garofalo starts off, they're racist. Keith Olbermann, they're racist. Before they met them, before they did the reporting that they claimed that I don't do, they had to, because they saw that the Republican Party of the last 40 years was so fearful of reaching out and reaching out to those communities, because they knew they were going to be called racist. And the Tea Party was sufficiently thick in the skull to say, no, we're going to fight. And so I, as a person who used to be a default liberal, who started to describe myself as a libertarian, everybody knows the baby steps of going from left to right. And nobody wants to be called a Republican out at a cocktail party in Brentwood, or anything like that. So I was just saying, I'm a libertarian. Conservative Republican, that would get them really pissed off. And then I realized that I wasn't getting the thrill anymore at these parties. I was a Republican friend myself. I go, how do I get these people to be really angry at Brentwood? And that was to say, I just went to a Tea Party. And that just gets them so angry. And what the Tea Party represents, and why Keith Olbermann and Janine Garofalo need to defeat it, is that the ascendancy of Barack Obama was the ascendancy of the progressive movement which took over the Democratic Party in the years between 2004 and now. Plans of mice and men. 2009, 2010, 2011, and right now he's at the top of the polls. Go to hell, Democrat. We didn't tell a story about Alan West and Tim Scott winning. It doesn't fit the narrative. And Herman Cain, you are patronizing too. And this guy's handing it to you, and you don't even know how to interpret it because he challenges your very essence. And in your very essence, you don't believe in this country, and he does. You don't believe in this country, and so you send the message to the inner city. The Democratic Party is here to help you. And in the 50 years, the Democratic Party were utopian-minded academic types, the type that do not like Richard Nixon, and types that don't like Andrew Breitbart, and don't like Ronald Reagan, not to compare myself to American presidents, but I just did, and I'll let it stand. Guys can go there and get slapped upside the face a million times being called a racist, because that's what the Democrat media complex will do for anybody that touches the third rail of American politics. And I don't care about being called racist. I could care less. I go and I speak to conservative black, Hispanic black organizations, and I say, I want to march to war with you. So to me, Herman Cain is a potent weapon that can break down the Democrat media complex, because without race, they've got nothing. Yeah, the second in charge at another organization that I believe has some roots, I think it was like 700 plus million. We're investigating others, other cylinder type things. Cylinder is just a symbol of the cronyism that we're talking about, is that Barack Obama wouldn't know how to start a Barack Obama memorabilia store. He wouldn't, the guy doesn't know, the guy doesn't know what a business, if he want to create that store. And there's a huge place in Fremont now where you can fill all of those photos and donations. But what they did reminded me of that old TV show, that old game show from the 70s. Remember the shopping market game? Where you just people start like trying to Costco you in and see how much they can fit in one shopping cart. And that's what they did. They didn't even attempt to try and spend the money. Keynes is rolling over in his grave. It's like, did it have to die like this? Couldn't it die in its pure form? You know.
As an ex-liberal for many years, 25 now.
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to know what you feel the gap is between the Tea Party and the Republican Party, as far as why many liberals feel that many Republicans hate the Tea Party, and how Republicans now feel that it's the Tea Party that is giving them a bad name.
That's the Democrat media complex creating that schism, I think, except for Republicans whose turf is being challenged. And so there are a lot of businesses posing as activist groups that are conservative, and think tanks and other sundry 100 million, 200 million, 300 million endowments and the like, who've been telling you in letters that come to your house because you bought, conservative magazine, and next thing you know, you're on a list asking you for money, is those people were the ones that were supposed to protect us from the barbarians at the gate. And instead, they became very comfortable living in that things are getting bad and we're the ones who are going to save you. And we the people is all the Tea Party is. The people said, if they're not going to do it, if the politicians aren't going to do it, we're going to do it. So the only people who believe that are those who still believe that Katie Couric's your friend, or people who believe that the people who got us into this position on the right are going to be the ones that are going to make the correct decisions when they've never, ever, ever made the correct decisions in the past. This is a democracy, and that is what the Tea Party is. It's an active democracy at work. It's the best thing that's ever happened in the country in my life.